Another Capitol Police lieutenant called Tariq Johnson repeatedly asked for permission to evacuate. He said there was no response from anybody at the command center. He said in January 23, I say even before I initiated the evacuation, I say specifically, we've got to start thinking about getting people out before we don't have a chance to. He said, I heard no response. Then I asked for permission to evacuate. I heard no response. Johnson then took it on himself to initiate an evacuation, which was completed just as a large crowd surged the hallway. He said, we have a clear directional sight to get out of the Senate right now. I need permission to do that. There was no response. Pittman and Gallagher didn't respond. He kept calling them, just like Stephen's son kept calling and calling and calling. But they wanted it to. Johnson said, I can't wait anymore. I'm going to evacuate. We're leaving. The numbers refer to disciplinary codes. Johnson said he was suspended for wearing a red MAGA hat while working on the east steps of the Capitol, but numerous Capitol Police say that Johnson was most certainly punished for taking command of the evacuation. They wanted to have the senators surrounded by everybody because that would have enabled them to be so mad about this that they would vote to convict the president and ultimately confirm the impeachment and kick him out of office early and make sure that he couldn't declassify anything that was problematic and then prevent him from running again. Video showing Johnson evacuating senators out the front entrance has been hidden from the public by GOP-led investigation for past 5.5 years. Why? The Epic Times and others have repeatedly been denied this crucial video. Similarly, recordings of Capitol Police dispatch demonstrate Johnson's frustration. He was ignored by Pittman and the command center. As he moved from the House side over to the Senate side, Johnson asked for guidance. Can you please help us? We're going to need some direction here. Can you help? What do you guys want us to do? No reply, just like son. Then at 2 p.m., Yogananda responds. She says at 2 p.m., Unit 2 at this time, we're ordering a lockdown of the Capitol building, lock down the building. He said that was done a long time ago, idiot. Acting Chief then Pittman attempted to shift the blame to the commanders on the ground. Under questioning by Herrera Butler, Pittman pushed the blame onto the commanders. He said, I think it's a multi-tiered failure, if you will. Johnson also said that he was seeking approval to evacuate the Senate. His pleas on the radio were aimed directly at her. He said Pittman should have made the call, but Johnson got silenced instead. Then the Capitol Police hired J. Thomas Manger to succeed Son. Pittman was put back in charge, right in the Intelligence Division. And just after the November midterms returned control of the House to Republicans, Pittman said she's out, she's retiring, goes over to Berkeley. She began her big fat payday, $283,000 a year in 23. She was still assured of getting her Capitol pension. Manger negotiated a separation agreement for her and put her on leave without pay for 5 months so that she could qualify for her pension. Okay, pay her off. She drew Berkeley's salary while also getting credit like she was on the job. It's all a cover-up. Now, in contrast, Son was forced by Pelosi to resign. She blamed him for J6. That is, of course, crumbled to pieces. Unlike Pittman, he never got a sweetheart pension deal. He is 6 months short of time needed on the job to get his federal pension. These people are such scum. The whistleblower said dozens of officers were forced out of the Capitol Police and blamed for the failure. Many forced to sign non-disclosure agreements if you want your pension, if you want your money. In at least one case, an officer was not allowed to have a copy of the NDA they signed, and the withholding of key intelligence had a major impact. It played a role in the denial of the National Guard troops that Son requested on J3. Trump said, we'll give you National Guard. Muriel Bowser said, no, we don't want him. Son said that the Sergeant-at-Arms, Paul Irving, said the optics were bad to have guards at the Capitol, and the intelligence didn't support this request. Trump also authorized 20,000 people from the National Guard to be there. Muriel Bowser rejected it. By the time, and then they blamed him for all this. By the time, and by the way, and their whole operation was, Trump only wants to deploy the National Guard so he can seize control of the building. They said that. We can't have them there. It's bad optics. The president controls the guard, and he'll put them on our doorsteps. So if we secure the building, then Trump's going to take over the building. If we don't secure the building, then Trump's going to take over the building. It's like, what do you want him to do? Oh, I know. Just be in jail. That's the only solution for you people. The offer was refused by the congressional leaders and by the mayor. By the time the rioting was spiraled out of control, the Pentagon dragged its feet, but then ultimately approved sending the National Guard. But the state police made it there faster than the D.C. National Guard because they delayed. Stephen's son talks about how many phone calls he made. But they did deploy the National Guard, according to the Stephen's son, to the military police home so that they were all protected because they thought we're under attack. So Gallagher's long tenure at the Capitol Police has also been filled with controversy. He abruptly retired in April, less than a year after he was named acting police. The union ripped the appointment. They said the Capitol Police force cannot continue to see problem officers fail upwards, winning promotions instead of demotions. He should have been demoted. Barely 2 days after he was named acting chief, the Capitol Police Board hired Michael Sullivan to replace Menger. And according to another investigation backed by Blaze, Gallagher was among a small group of Capitol officers whose misdeeds led to promotions. As a captain with the Dignitary Division, Gallagher ran a time card fraud scheme that cost the Capitol Police more than $10,000, Internal Affairs said. So the guy's a fraudster too. Weird. $10,000. Capitol Police documents obtained by the Blaze showed overtime fraud on time cards was a conspiracy among 3 officers that began in 2010, led by Gallagher. The captain forged his supervisor's signature on his overtime submissions. Gallagher always used a different color ink for his supervisor's signatures, faking the documents. An Internal Affairs report recommended he be fired, but he wasn't. He was promoted. The offense was willful, frequent, occurring on 8 occasions. Captain Gallagher misrepresented his times, forged his supervisor's signatures on overtime, falsified pay certification sheets, forged his signature on pay certs, and defrauded the government for significant personal gain. Wow. Perfect. Promote him. Blaze News also learned that Chief Kim Dine, who left the Capitol Police in 2015, intervened on Gallagher's behalf. The captain was not demoted and received only a 10-day suspension without pay. Absolutely incredible report. And it's just one cover-up after another. So the people who were complicit in it sat on their hands, enabled the whole thing to happen, Yogananda Pittman and the others. And here's part of the audio recording where there's no reply. So finally she comes out and says, okay, lock it down. So here's some audio it's going to play here in a second.
Unit 2, at this time we're ordering a lockdown of the Capitol building. Lockdown the Capitol building.
Sorry, done.
Unit 2 is ordering a lockdown of the Capitol. Can we get in the lower territory first before you lock it down? I'm telling you what we need. We need some kind of a tactical plan to divert the preachers so we can get everybody in the lower territory. We do not have any hard gear up here. We need a plan to get these people, these officers back in the building. They're coming, and we can't stop them from reaching. I got that. All right, Unit 2, go ahead.
My friend, we just had something explode right on the east side of the Capitol, right where the club reached, heading towards the center step. Again, something just exploded on the east side of the Capitol.
I copy that. Unit 2, go with your message.
Unit 2, at this time we are ordering a campus-wide lockdown. A campus-wide lockdown. Please sound fair.
Campus for Unit 2. Campus intelligence at this time. We have a campus-wide lockdown immediately. Campus-wide lockdown of the Capitol for Unit 2. In simulcast 14 405, they trying to copy that. The lowest territory is about to be breached, so that is a priority. We need some kind of a threat unit to help us develop a plan and get the officers that are stuck on the lower territory in the lower territory. Copy.
inside the building to try and let us in the upper doors of the center stairs with this arrestee.
405, John.
401. 405. Can anybody get in that window? Is that window big enough for somebody to crawl through?
All right, so their point was she finally locks it down way after the fact, after they've already made the request to do that. So pretty shocking report. And I think the idea that this whole thing has been received by the new J6 Select Subcommittee, not a select subcommittee, but the subcommittee by Loudermilk, means they're looking into this, and hopefully they're going to have much more details from inside the government. But the whistleblower report saying there were text messages. Yogananda knew this was coming down the line. He was excited about her promotion. Capitol Hill Chief of Police Stephen Sund corroborates this in his book, that he was made to be the scapegoat. He called for support. Lieutenant Johnson called for support. They were all hung out to dry. And there's text messages back and forth between guys like Gallagher, apparently a fraudster who was recommended to be fired, who wasn't fired, who was promoted, to the political components of Chuck Schumer. Nancy Pelosi and her sergeant-at-arms in the House side was not responding to Stephen Sund's multiple requests for support. No National Guard was allowed to be deployed until after the fact. And apparently, according to this report, they were almost enabling the senators to not be evacuated when it was very clear that they should have been evacuated. So this cover-up continues. And man, I hope that the new subcommittee is actually digging into it. I'm not exactly sure. The article didn't explain why they felt the need to release this now. Maybe because they're getting the cold shoulder from them in the aftermath of the lawsuit by the CIA agent who is trying to silence that story and prevent, any conversation about that happening. And the revelation on this might be a nice impetus for the subcommittee to respond to these allegations, release the text message. Cockerham has them, obviously, and had been communicating with Hanneman and Baker about all of this. So hopefully they stay on it. We're going to keep our eye on this. This was such a tentpole of the last 4 years that it needs to be rooted out, and the people should not be getting promotions and going to Berkeley and getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in 5 months.
Hello. Hi, this is Ken from Colonial. I'm trying to get a hold of Norman Wickland.
What's this in regard to?
I've got a delivery for you of 3 pieces.
Okay.
Trying to set a day and time up for delivery. So beginning with tomorrow, a 3-hour window between 9 and 3 that someone's there. You pick the day in the 3-hour window.
Okay, what's being delivered? I'm sorry, you said. I got a few things coming, so I got to know.
Army and Air Force Exchange Service.
Okay, so it's a tractor. Yeah, tomorrow. You said tomorrow's available?
Yep, tomorrow's available.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to do 9 to noon?
That's fine.
And I have an address of 6830 Yawberg Road.
That is correct.
Okay, we'll be there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh no, it's the TVs.
Hey, we're not doing their jobs. They should be investigated. They should be hauled in, not under voluntary depositions and interviews. Pass a subpoena. Bring them in. Sit them down. Get them on the record in a way that Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger never did. They had no interest in doing it. They were also a part of the cover-up scheme, and they were empowered in the aftermath.
TVs for the
until
bar.
Liz Cheney got blown out in Wyoming, and Adam Kinzinger is no longer in Congress. So good riddance to them. But we're going to keep our eye on this one. Thank you for joining and subscribing as we do. All right, now we've got one other update on the day.
Hey, Jared.
And then we'll hear from you. And the tubes worked for the rest of this you just how panicky the Biden people are and what their arguments are as to why all of this should remain under seal and why it should remain under seal. Because Joe Biden waived all sorts of privileges when President Trump was invoking things like executive privilege. He said, well, Biden said, I would ordinarily uphold executive privilege, but, January 6th was a horrific thing. And so what we'll do is waive all of that and enable the courts and the prosecutors, illegal prosecutors like Jack Smith and hack judges like Judge Beryl Howell, to come after Trump and his lawyers, breach attorney-client privilege, breach executive privilege, breach deliberative privilege, and all the other things. So here they come in, crashing in here at the final minute, Biden's lawyers, saying, we are now here. Now, Biden is prepared to participate in a renewed summary judgment briefing on an expedited basis, and Biden intends to seek emergency relief against the DOJ to prevent these disclosures to Heritage and to Congress. They said that the DOJ will release these things on June 15th, so coming up soon. So it's now an emergency. And remember, Biden, apparently, his lawyers were not responding to the Heritage Foundation for a long time. Like, they knew the DOJ was going to release this. This lawsuit goes all the way back to the initial Her report, which was in 24, which said that in these recordings, Joe Biden sounds like a disaster. So Biden proposes that the court order us to meet and confer. It would serve judicial economy. Let Joe Biden come crashing in here. He's submitting an attached memorandum, and we really want to intervene in this. So his lawyers finally woke up from their stupor and submitted this filing. And here is the memo showing their arguments and exactly what they're claiming is the basis for preventing these audio recordings from coming out. And it's pretty hilarious. So in a 30-pager, they drop this one and they say, all right, Judge, don't release these audios, okay? Every American, including a sitting and former vice president, has a right to privacy, okay, in personal conversations he has within his home. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, if you're talking about like walking your dog or eating ice cream or your son's crackhead endeavors, yeah, that might be private. But when you're talking about classified documents there, Joe, that's not a private conversation, okay? It's a crime. You're communicating national security information to your book writer who's going to put it in a public book. So that invokes jurisdiction of the DOJ for committing a crime. Remember all of the audio recordings of Trump talking about the map to other journalists, people in the room? Oh, look at this map, or look at this document. That was a national emergency. Jay Tapper on CNN was having a 5-alarm fire meltdown. How could he do that? Was that a private conversation? No, that was a conversation, according to them, about classified materials. Now, Joe Biden was the vice president at this time. He was not the president. And so you could argue his declassification and his authority to have the right to the opinion in writing of all of his cabinet officials, like the Constitution guarantees to the president, doesn't necessarily apply to him. But they prosecuted Trump. They raided his house for this. So maybe the same standard should have applied to to old Joe. So they say when the DOJ obtains private information through a criminal investigation, they bear the responsibility to protect it. The department previously defended those lawsuit principles, and that was the Biden DOJ. Remember, the Biden DOJ was covering this up for Joe. They said that it was analogous to entries in a personal diary, and it shouldn't be disclosed. Now, under Trump, though, it's all been reversed, and now they're planning on releasing these audio recordings and the transcripts of Biden's private, sensitive conversations with classified materials from 2016 and 17 to both the Heritage Foundation and to Congress. And so now Biden is forced to seek to protect his privacy since the DOJ has abandoned their duty to do this, saying the Heritage Foundation sued the department back in 24 under Joe, seeking the recordings and transcripts that Joe was communicating to Mark Swanitzer. Took place in Biden's home in 16 and 17. Part of writing the book, Promise Me, Dad, a year of hope, hardship, and purpose from Joe. Doesn't know what year it is, but he's writing about a year of hope. He recounted the painful year that began in 14. He navigated a bunch of foreign policy things like the vice president and putting his son on the board of Ukraine, Burisma. Then weighed a run for presidency at 16 before his brain was fried. His son fought cancer and died. The public and private discussions were always intertwined, but it was very difficult. And so they wrote a book about it. Now, the department got those recordings, the DOJ, back in 23, after special counsel Robert Hur was appointed to investigate the records. Ultimately, the special counsel said no charges were warranted. Why? Because Biden was an elderly old man. Nobody would convict him accordingly. So they say the heritage plaintiffs have no legal right to get these documents. These are sensitive. They would be an invasion of privacy, and it would inhibit law enforcement. Now, Trump's DOJ is abandoning the core tenets of American justice. Oh, spare us with the platitudes. And forsaking its duty to protect law enforcement files. Biden waived all of those protections as they related to Trump, saying the J6 warranted it. So what's good for the goose is good for the Biden. The law has not changed, but now the department is reversing course. They plan to release the recordings and the transcripts if the court doesn't forbid it. They have yet to offer any formal explanation that they say it's political, lacking any basis in law. Well, I think it is very pertinent to the public interest. If Joe Biden's brain was fried in 17 and Hur confirms in the audio recordings that were leaked to Axios from his interviews that his brain was fried in 2024, that would make the argument more sufficient to claim that his entire presidency was invalid. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know what he was doing. His pardons are null and void. His executive orders have no weight of force and effect under the law. Indeed, the department took a new tact, and now they're going to release it. So now Biden is forced to intervene. DOJ doesn't oppose the intervention, and I think just because they sort of think it's probably a foregone conclusion that he'll be able to intervene, they say they're going to release it. Biden now has a legally protected interest in preventing this from coming out. No one's going to defend him. The DOJ has already stated they're releasing this stuff on June 15th, unless this court stops it from happening. Biden is now coming in, and help us, Judge. You're our only hope. More background. They say these are private conversations. These were painful years for him. This was his final year as vice president. Obama was throwing him out in favor of Hillary. Son died of brain cancer. And so it was intertwined with Beau. And so they explain it as the reason he can't have a functional brain is because it was a difficult time in his life. And it played into his decision. Swannitzer recorded these conversations for his personal use, and then Swannitzer said that he deleted them and then ultimately didn't delete them. They recovered those, so he tried to cover it up. Both men understood they were speaking privately, and the recordings were never intended to be released to the public. So what? Yeah, what does that have to do with anything? Years later, Biden ran for president, was elected president. Garland appointed Hur to investigate the unauthorized removal of classified documents by Joe. But that was after he was already alerted to this, and he started shoveling the documents out of multiple locations. They didn't raid his house with armed FBI agents, hoping that maybe Trump would come out guns a-blazing and they could blast him. Biden cooperated fully. Special counsel ultimately concluded, why though? Why? That they were unwarranted charges? Because it couldn't establish his guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Well, the doubt was about his intention and his mental faculties because his brain didn't work. So they got materials. It was a 345-page report that was later published to Garland. Audio recordings dropped later. And it went through classification reviews and other things. Then Mike Howell from Heritage submitted a FOIA request and had been fighting this for a long time. The interviews occurred back in 2016. In their motion for summary judgment, they said that there were privacy interests, but we need to have all of this stuff published. There's hours of testimony. And the prior DOJ said we don't want it released. Then they did release the department. They say the department released more than 5 hours of audio recordings. I thought that was debatable. Maybe after the leak occurred. Some of it leaked to Axios. I think they were the ones who got it first. On September 27th, the court stayed the action. Then February 26th, They informed Biden that they're going to release the audio recordings at her reference. Then Biden has been engaging with the department, and then the department said, we're releasing them. Now, of course, they're freaking out. So they say, grant our motion to intervene. Biden has a right to intervene under the rules. He meets all the requisite requirements. The motion to intervene is timely. We haven't waited too long for this. Heritage filed their joint report and said that they have not been cooperative. They have not been responsive at all. But if you allow him to intervene, it's not going to improperly prejudice anybody. Now, Heritage complains about this, rightfully so. They've been on this since 2024. And so in about 30 pages, they say, let us intervene. And they're comparing and contrasting the Biden DOJ, which was protecting Biden, versus the Trump DOJ, which is protecting the public, and revealing the truth about exactly Biden's incapacitated brain. So that all got released. Here, they finally responded to it. The court did respond and issue an order on this, saying, I've considered this, and it is now ordered the DOJ to respond. Actually, the DOJ doesn't have to respond, but Heritage does need to respond, and so that order will be coming down. And the Bidens really do not want this audio to come out, but it should come out for the public to know what they were talking about. It involved classified materials. It was the subject of the Her report. It impacted the Her report's conclusion and assessment that no charges should be brought, because just in 24, like in 2017 and 16, Biden was not there. He did not have the mental faculties to be responsible for his intentional release of classified documents. And if he couldn't formulate the mens rea, the mindset, a guilty mind that would be sufficient for criminal charges, how could he have formulated the mindset, the mens rea, the intentionality, the willfulness to go and issue a pardon or an executive order? And it undermines his entire presidency, which is why they're so panicked about this and intending to seek emergency relief. But we're going to keep our eye on this one. Hopefully those documents come out, because it will be devastating for his presidency and will explain a lot more about what the Democrats' entire modus operandi was, which is to have a fictional figurehead who is pliable and maneuverable for 4 years of the country so they could do whatever they want, and Joe Biden would get stuck with the bill. So we're going to keep our eye on this one. Thank you for joining and subscribing as we do. All right, friends, what a lovely morning stream it has been. Thank you for joining us and for being here on this Thursday. As I mentioned at the top of the show on the first failed stream that we were on, we've got an event today, which is why we're a little bit early on the morning. We appreciate you joining us to kick off this lovely Thursday. Speaking of ice cream, here is Joe. But anyway, I came for the ice cream. We know, Joe. We know. Your whole presidency was about ice cream and oatmeal. Okay, Joe, here comes the airplane. Open up. Right into his mouth. Okay. Relantel. Yeah, I did see this. Did you see the DOJ sued the DC bar over Jeffrey Clark's disciplinary matter? Were a couple of mentions of the Ed Martin attempt also. I did see that. Yeah, the DC lawsuit to protect Jeffrey Clark. I haven't looked at it yet, but I did see that come across the aisle this morning, Relantel. I think that's good news. Apparently, the DC bar is very, very one-sided, like the rest of DC is. So, yeah, hopefully Jeffrey Clark, I think Jeffrey Clark had his original license, I think, removed in California, and I think he was going through disciplinary matters in DC to try to remove them there. Whereas other lawyers in DC, I think like Kevin Kleinsmith, who fictionalized the FISA warrant in order to spy on the Trump campaign, keeps his license. How convenient is that? Thank you, Relantel. We'll put a pin in that one and keep our eye on that one as well. Hey, what's going on? Biology always wins. Man, I'm sorry to hear this. Man, hey, so prayers up for Biology Always Wins, and husband of Biology Always Wins. Mr. Biology Always Wins. Hey, Rocket Robin watchers, can you guys send prayers to my hubby? We thought the last 4 years of medical hell was behind us. He has seizures every time the docs change his meds. He can't drive for 3 months. So prayers up. Lord, Heavenly Father, please watch over Mr. Biology Always Wins. Ensure he has a speedy recovery. Solve this seizure problem once and for all. heal his body and his soul so that this is not a recurring problem, and send health and energetic spiritual healing into the Biology Always Wins household. And my friends out there, if you're the praying kind, send them into the household over there because they're amazing. Thank you, Biology Always Wins. Hopefully he can recover from that. And there are much better prayer warriors out there than I. So Biology, thank you for the nice dono. Prayers up for your husband. And that sounds, like a very difficult thing to go through. So you're an amazing wife. Prayers up for your family and your husband and for you. Thank you for that. Hey, what's up? And thank you, friends, for sending prayers over there. Hey, Kevin, what's up? Gifted a membo. Dog backwards is God. Speaking of those prayers, Kevin, that's SpongeBob. You know who likes SpongeBob a lot? My brother Joey, which is kind of an interesting thing. I didn't realize. I didn't really think about why he would like SpongeBob, but he really likes SpongeBob. Pretty interesting little thing that's true. Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. All right, so friends, we're gonna pause here. Your boy has to throw on a suit and tie and get to this event. It's going to be a great event. It's taking place all day, today and tomorrow. So we're not going to be back tomorrow. We'll see about a Saturday stream if there's anything good to dig into. I'm sure there will be. But we'll pause here for the week. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking our channel, our video, and all of the things. Let's see if we've got any other comments on X before we get on out of here on the day. We do a couple of comments. Yeah, I state your name. Says, it sounds like Miss Nancy and Co. wanted to get 3 birds, 1 stone. Not only did this set up the impeachment process against Trump, it was used to smear his supporters, caused the removal of a local police chief who clearly wouldn't play ball for the team agenda. 100%. Yeah, I mean, it was the entire operation for the remaining 4 years. They prosecuted Rudy, they prosecuted Sidney, they prosecuted Jenna Ellis, they prosecuted everybody they possibly could. Multiple states. They changed the House, the election rules, the Electoral Count Act. They changed it because there was an opportunity there to actually do what Trump was proposing. They changed it, locked it up. They really wanted him to be impeached and convicted, so that would have precluded him from running again. Say, once you're convicted, you're ineligible for future office. That didn't happen, obviously. And I think the impeachment was also leverage against declassifying a bunch of things. Like on his way out, they were nervous that Trump was just going to go hog wild and declassify a bunch of things. And this was leverage. Some senators, if you do this, we're going to vote to convict. If you don't do this, we'll vote to acquit. And I think there was probably a backroom deal that was made. And then Trump went out gracefully in order to preserve his re-election chances, and it worked out. It's a good call because he won again. Hey, Bertie. Hey, this is my new go-to podcast. Thank you, Bertie. You explain current legal events so clearly, smart, spicy, and can see the truth. A little spice sometimes. Most people nowadays cannot. Man, that's a nice comment, Bertie. Britty, not Bertie, Britty. Thank you, Robert. So glad to have found your show. God bless you and keep you near. Thank you.
Talked about something when recording the VOD kind of thing. Like I'm actually gonna start uploading my videos earlier in the day starting next week too. I work sorting mail. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. Tulsi's deep state and deep. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. Yeah, all right. Well, so let's go. I see I did not rate Tulsi. We only got that. You know, we got all sorts of stuff. Let's get into it here. getting closer to being ready at 9. It's a big switch for me. Normally I'm not live until 2 Eastern. So 9 Eastern is a big switch. I was an hour late yesterday, and about 7 minutes late today. So we'll see here. Heading in the right direction is what we can say. Not that one. This one. Okay. Close. Yeah, 3 minutes late tomorrow, and then next week we should be on time. Trending towards the right way. Yeah. Yeah. Shall we? There's been some interesting news going on around Corey Lewandowski and, dare I say, disgraced Ice Barbie Kristi Noem.
Car on shoulder.
I've reported a car at the shoulder. Thanks.
I guess it's not her fault necessarily, that she was under nonstop attack by the media, but her commercial, which was more like, I don't know, a presidential ad for herself. I don't know if that's, that's not really a good thing either. Some of the stuff, obviously, with her husband, look, her husband was into something spicy, something that, as far as I can tell, wasn't hurting anybody. Is it meme worthy? Are the pictures of him with balloons under his shirt funny? Yes, but I would say, does that? I think ultimately that's why Kristi Noem was fired, because they were worried that her husband would be providing some sort of, compromise, get caught up in some sort of information, sharing photos, sharing this. It's just bad PR. But now the DHS watchdog is investigating $38 billion in the $38 billion ICE program, backed by Kristi Noem and her lover, Corey Lewandowski. Washington, a federal watchdog is investigating a program that spent $38 billion underneath ex-Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Now, if I remember this correctly, there were like some real estate deals and other stuff like that was a little odd, that seemed curious, that there was like some, how do I say this, like no bid contracts given out. There was some no bid contracts going out, which is weird, stuff like that. Department of Homeland Security Officer Inspector General has announced a probe to determine to what extent U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement purchased and converted facilities for detention spaces that meet its operational need in a cost-effective manner. ICE's acquisition drive, which was also championed by Noem's top advisor, Corey Lewandowski, has spent $1 billion so far in taxpayer dollars to purchase just 11 empty warehouses. Now, I guess maybe 11 empty warehouses. Excuse me again. 11 empty warehouses are pretty expensive. I guess $100 million each for empty warehouses. Those warehouses must be gigantic. They must be absolutely monstrous. That's the question. $1 billion on 11 buildings. Thought I was going to sneeze again. That's an issue. And the Wall Street Journal first reported that. Like, look, Kristi Noem is hashtag, a Trump advisor, not somebody that I would, have chosen personally, but she's hashtag, one of us, or whatever the case may be, or whatever that is. I don't know. In total, though, $45 billion was appropriated for, quote, single adult alien detention capacity and family residential center capacity. $45 billion? $45 billion? I thought we were just deporting these people. I think the American taxpayer is probably pretty surprised to find that out. I mean, $45 billion earmarked to detain these people. I thought we were just deporting them. I thought we were just going to deport them. ICE bought warehouses from sellers like Goldman Sachs, the Carlyle Group, as opposed to leasing facilities from private prison companies per the resale analytics company CoStar, which is what they should have done. In a March report, CoStar alleged that DHS paid premiums between 11% and 13% over market price for similar properties. Some companies that received federal contracts related to the building purchases had never previously worked on immigration matters ever, according to the Journal. That's an issue. I mean, how many of these people were Corey Lewandowski's friends? I don't know. I'm not asserting that as fact. I don't know. Why are they paying over market for empty warehouses? I don't know. That I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Couldn't say that automatically, positively means that there's anything fishy going on, but it's very odd. Noem's replacement as DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen paused spending on the warehouse to detention facilities program shortly after assuming cabinet position in late March. Seems like a good idea. We are committed to full transparency and will not interfere with the ongoing investigation, they said. Well, I mean, to me, it seems like something just weird is going on. I really think Kristi Noem sucks. And maybe that's how she got her job. I don't know. But the amount of suspicious, and by the way, this isn't even talking about,
it's getting hard to listen to.
Where the tens.
Whale himself, Sebastian Gorka. Sebastian Gorka, who is in fact a homosexual killer whale. It's almost too cool for him. Sperm whale. He's like a homosexual sperm whale, and he has long had the knives out for the alternative media or anybody that he perceives as insufficiently loyal to the state of Israel. Now, I have people telling me he's an American citizen. I have people telling me he's not Jewish. I don't know. I don't really care. The man is a foreign agent, in my opinion, and evinces all of the characteristics one would expect of a hostile and subversive traitor to this country. His latest statement is like a bunch of these things combined, because not only is he saying,
this is fucking annoying. Let's back to good is getting great. You and me and the baby.
.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify. Westwood Financial Group is not an law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-475-1818. That's 800-475-1818. Tour Edge Golf has launched their all-new Exotic Series drivers, offering explosive distance driven by industry-leading MOI, guaranteeing more accuracy and confidence off the tee. Designed with full carbon construction and pyramid face technology to achieve maximum distance, power, and forgiveness, the low-spin Exotics LS, the ultra-forgiving Exotics Max, and the speed-inducing Exotics Light drivers deliver performance above all else. 3 distinct designs, 1 uncompromising Exotic standard. Learn more about the Exotic Series at touredge.com. Speak your mind. Speak your mind. The David Webb Show, 866-957-2874. All right, let's go to Jack in Colorado. Look, I know we went the distance there. I really enjoyed that call with Bill. Jack, hang on a second. Let me say this. I have no other way to say it. I'm not a politician. I have to be just straightforward with you. People will lose in this situation. Farmers will lose. Businesses will lose. That's the harsh reality of this. And recognizing it makes me no less sympathetic or empathic or whatever to those people and those businesses and the people affected by it. But at times, the decision by a leader is a macro decision. But Trump understands the micro, the individual. All right, Jack, Colorado, go ahead.
Thanks for taking my call, David. I don't want to waste a lot of your time. I just want to mention the fact
my time's never wasted with my callers. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Never.
Being an ex-Marine, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Being an ex-Marine, when I say being an ex-Marine, I'm speaking of yourself. Does the names Hall, Hargrove, and Marshall strike a chord with you?
Hargrove does. And my brain's just not on people today sometimes.
Okay. These are if you go to the Vietnam War Memorial, the last 41 names on that war memorial took place this week. It actually took place tomorrow on the 15th, Koh Tang Island in Cambodia, off the coast of Cambodia. And the last 3 guys that died in the Vietnam War in that conflict were left behind in that evacuation process. They were gunners. They were providing support for the evacuation on the island. And we got everybody off, but we left those 3 guys behind. And so they officially would have been the last 3 guys killed in action over there during that conflict. And they were, from what I've read, they were either executed or beaten to death when they were captured. Here it happens on the 15th, and it kind of conflicts with the tribute to the police departments in this country, which deserve it. But this is never mentioned in history. This battle of these 3 guys is really never mentioned in history. It's kind of that issue is kind of a microcosm of the whole war. It's a big mess all the way around, from beginning to end.
Actually, that's, not a trite but accurate way. It is a big mess all around.
Yeah, free Friedman for sure.
We go back and we look at things and we analyze them. We should.
Yeah.
I'm saying you don't, right? That's why you do an after-action report. You look at the.
It's been a while, man.
Try to learn from it, and that's the best thing we can do.
Yeah, I saw. I kind of wish they'd have used Give, Send, Go rather than GoFundMe, but yeah.
That's one of the things our military, the good ones, the commanders, leaders, the individuals.
Yeah, Lackey really stepped up with that video yesterday.
And then realize that the next conflict elements may be similar, as I said.
So is that going to be enough to get him out?
The same. They're never the same.
mean, it's 40,000, so 4,000 plus living. Well, you know what he's going to need to fight this crap. If you could just say hi in on the Rumble stream. I need some unique chatters.
I'll never forget that moment because it really wakes you up to the reality. In Trump's first administration, going to Hawaii, myself, Seth, and Vice President Pence at the time, and others that were there when they brought back those.
That's cool.
I think it was 48 coffins standing there with those families. You don't forget those moments because you see a very real world effect on people. And most people, I think, have heard this from me over time, but I knew one of the last two, and it's funny, not funny, but coincidentally you bring that up. Jerry Yellen, who passed away, was that last fighter pilot, along with Philip Schlomberg, his wingman.
That's cool.
Came up when he climbed after dropping his payload in Asia, and that was the last combat mission of World War II in that theater. So there's seeing these things up close, I guess is my point. It gives me
the front channels are having a field day, but there's a lot of disinformation about it. I'm glad Lackluster put out the accurate information. You been working nights or something?
Noted, Jack, and appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate the conversation and taking my call.
Thank you, sir. Brian in Indiana, 86695 Patriot. What's up, Brian?
Hey, Dave, good to talk to you again. The caller that was asking about the soybean farmers. I live here in Indiana. I live in the middle of cornfields and soy fields. Soy has always been a less desirable crop for the farmers. It just gets less money. You have to dry it longer. So usually, most farmers will rotate. They'll do corn 1 year, and then because of the corn actually depletes a lot of the minerals, then they'll do soy the following year.
Not doing the gas station thing anymore?
In the ground so the corn can grow the following year after that. If you are able to have the money to do the anhydrous and fertilizers and all of that stuff, then you can do corn back to back to back to back.
I got it, brother.
But most of the farmers that can afford all of that have taken subsidies from the government, which in the beginning was great for them. But it ended up destroying them.
I've been trying to get the financing together to buy a bar. It looks like we're finally going to at least take control of it on June 1st.
If I'm trying to explain it properly.
No, I understand it.
Let's see who's calling me here. Hello. 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 All right.
This is part of the problem we've had in this country, not just with soy, with corn, with so many other products. Our subsidies have created, financial addicts, subsidy addicts. I don't know what kind of term that is. And in the end, you have to deal with the changes. In the end, that is what happens. And when that happens, the addict needs to be dealt with. I'm not insulting farmers. It's the subsidy. It's being caught in that chain. Which is why if you subsidize it, it eventually becomes either more expensive or unsustainable.
I really don't understand exactly how or why this works. But if you're a subsidized farmer, there are certain fields and certain times that they tell you to leave the land bare and don't plant anything, and then they still pay for it for just sitting land, which that just baffles me completely, because at least throw hay on it or something.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't understand some of that either. I've seen it at its worst. I've seen it at its, I guess I'll call it borderline criminal with some of the stuff, the black farmers that were being, the fake black farmers, much different from the real black farmers.
Dreams too.
Farming. And, sometimes I wonder, where does this stuff happen? Maybe not only in America.
Ken, sorry about that.
Of what you would get if it was corn or soybeans. So,
Disconnected.
I don't know, it seems like a little off on some of the things he was talking about. But that being said, I'll let you go. I love your show. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you. All right. Appreciate that, Matt. You know what? Let's see. We can do this. 1 minute left. Brian in Oklahoma. It's all yours. Go for it.
Hey, this is first time caller, farmer in Oklahoma. Those acres that they set aside are called set aside acres, and they did that back in the 80s, trying to control oversupply of certain grains, that type of thing. Rather than subsidize the farmer, they subsidize not the plant. But all farmers are sucking air. That's what I wanted to say. It's the main thing. Whether it's grain, corn, soybeans, you name it. The farmer suicide rates in the 200
Try again.
percentile over.
I disconnected for a minute, so that may be why.
For this country, it's not good.
If it won't, that's fine. I get it.
Well, then, you know what? I'm thinking as you and I, as I'm listening to you here, Brian. Let me dig a little bit and see if we can pull some people together to properly have a conversation. Farming in America. Let me think about that. Yeah. All right, I'm going to work on that, Brian. You hear the music. I got to go to break. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, disconnected for a minute.
Our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing.
No, it works.
Just $98. Clear.
I use it. It's in my description.
Right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com. When emergencies happen, cell service is often the first thing to fail. Towers overload, signals drop, and suddenly you can't reach the people who matter most. That's not just frustrating, it can be dangerous. Rapid radios are built for moments like that. These rugged,
Rumble's letting us do shorts now too, up to 3 minutes long.
helping you stay connected virtually anywhere. With no contracts,
we got a ton of those uploaded,
and no complicated setup. Whether you're protecting your family at home, traveling off the grid, managing a job site, or preparing for severe weather, rapid radios give you reliable communication when traditional networks fall short.
It's nothing to do with Prime.
Right now, you can save up to 60%, and every radio includes a full year of service. Be prepared before you need it.
Here, I'll just drop the streams link in the chat.
That's rapidradios.com. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. Rising energy prices, fragile supply chains, even threats of food shortages. It's no surprise that millions of American families are starting to take preparedness seriously. That's why My Patriot Supply created Family Preparedness Starter Packs. 1 full week of food for everyone in your family, plus water filtration, cooking tools, and backup power. All for as little as $100.
That's interesting.
Go to MyPatriotSupply.com to get prepared today. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
Find the stream here.
Never gets old. Celebrating America 250. Sirius XM Patriot 125. Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. America's top diplomat says it would be a terrible mistake for China to try to take Taiwan by force. Secretary of State Rubio, part of the
it's hard to. I'm not even getting as many notifications anymore because
has not changed. Following the first meeting of their summit,
I haven't been watching him a whole lot. I did just subscribe to his Kick channel though. I keep trying to tell him to get on Rumble, man. It's all that restreaming stuff he does and the music. They don't give a shit really that much on Rumble about that.
Our two countries that any president and president has that. And the White House says President Trump.
They've only got one strike on Rumble and they deserved it. So.
Economic cooperation, although she did have a warning of a potential clash between the U.S. and China over China.
Gotta get some feedback for a second here. There we go. Here's the Rumble link. I guess.
Losses the moment it stops working. The diet that worked before doesn't. Eating less stops moving the scale. That's not random. When your body's under stress, it slows your metabolism. That's why quick fixes eventually fail. At PHC Weight Loss, they focus on restoring your metabolism. And right now, when you call and mention Mike G, you'll get 2 free weeks and they'll pay for the cost of your food. Call 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900. Or visit myphdweightloss.com. Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hey, XE.
Israel launches deadly drone attacks.
Dick brother.
after warning residents of 6 southern villages to leave. Hezbollah continued to claim attacks on Israeli troops in Lebanon and in northern Israel. Fighting between the militant group and the Israeli army has persisted almost daily. He keeps saying Dick instead of Doc. That's okay. Just leave it.
Foreign ministers have started a 2-day meeting in New Delhi. Diplomats from Brazil, Russia, and India, China, and South Africa are attending the talks.
And you're working today too, I figured.
States. Meeting beginning today coincides with a Trump-Xi summit in Beijing. News and analysis at townhall.com.
I figured too.
First thing, bring your A game because I'll take nothing less. We're going to have an open and honest discussion, but the facts matter. Let's talk about the people. It's common sense. It's principles and policies that work for everybody. I just want to talk about how to fix this country.
I like David Webb. It's funny, man. Don't be embarrassed.
With all of the redistricting, I'll call them battles around the country, redrawn districts present opportunities, I would say fairly primarily for the Republicans. There will be some more competitive districts in some cases, and Democrats don't like it because now they have to deal with racial gerrymandering. But don't think that battle's over anytime soon, even given the Calais decision by the Supreme Court. In the state of Florida, new maps immediately after.
Don't make yourself sicker by going to work.
In this case, Florida at 25. The original Florida 25 was a longtime seat held by Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Democrat in Broward County, primarily, but it spreads out beyond that. The newly redrawn Florida 25 stretches from southern Palm Beach County to Broward into northern Miami-Dade, now covering parts of Delray Beach, Boca Raton, Pompano Beach, Hallandale Beach, Miami Beach, and parts of Miami-Dade. So the district redrawn, which also incorporates some parts of prior FL Florida 23, I'm just looking at my notes here, presents an opportunity. Can Republicans take a district that, by the number at least, in different form, was held by a long-term and frankly powerful Democrat, Debbie Wasserman Schultz? One of those candidates, one of the, I would say, the 4 primary Republicans, 3 at the top of that, and the 4th one still in the race, looking to take that seat is Joe Kaufman, congressional candidate for Florida's 25th district in its new form. His website, kaufmanforcongress.com, and he joins me now. Joe, welcome to the show.
David, it's an honor to be on your show. I did your show years ago when I was a Republican.
No worries.
Against Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and I liked it then. I love it now. I have a friend, Dan Seidel, that keeps on telling me to go on David's show, So it's great to be here.
Well, good to have you here. Let's dive in. You have been, at this for some time. You've run for 2 state seats. You've made 6 congressional runs in the prior form of these districts. And now with the newly redrawn district, the competitiveness is there. And let's get right into it. Make your case for your candidacy in this newly redrawn district.
So in 2024, when I was running against Jared Moskowitz in the 23rd district, I was the closest race in Florida. I received 48% of the vote. It was the highest vote percentage of any Republican to ever run for that seat. At the time of the election, it was like a D+5. Now it's like a D+2. We really believed that we had a win, an upcoming win with that. But with regards to 25, it's really a dream come true for me.
Well, they pay me mileage and I'm on the clock, so.
A Republican seat could be like an R+6 7.
I get pretty good
10.
RO.
One of those areas, Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale. I won those areas when I ran against Jared Moskowitz and Hollywood, Aventura, and Miami Beach. I won those areas when I ran up against W. Washington Schultz. If it were just up to those areas in my elections, I would have beaten both of them.
I know Ralph beats it. That sucks.
That we have a win over here.
To that point, and I ran through the numbers, to use the term.
That's working on mine. It must be your equipment, dude.
And yes, it leans strong Republican, but not a guarantee. And this is often the case with newly redrawn districts. Democrats, for their part,
I've got it on 2 other devices to monitor the stream.
In the statewide context,
that's how I knew it. I disconnected for a minute. Usually XD will tell me in chat, but
and Democrats are surely not going to walk away from this without a fight.
But David, it's not a toss-up for me. You see,
so for a couple of my socks, I use Google too.
No doubt.
Actually, for almost all of them.
When I ran up against Jared Moskowitz, he kept on
through your Gmail
over and over again. You heard from different rabbis that I had destroyed his Jewish base.
Your G
So when I won my
and an R
with huge numbers in 2024, I won 35% of the vote, and I almost won the entire thing, 48%, and with no help from the party whatsoever. It was in large part because of the
Jared's over there.
Observant Jewish population. The Jewish population of District 23 was 20%. This time around, it's 25%. And there are no liberal Jews in District 25. This has every major Orthodox Jewish hub in the entire state of Florida. So
we put it on Crowder.
If
Crowder's on now.
Candidate, Joe Kaufman wins with very good numbers. If any of the others are the candidate, I can't say the same at all. And I think my background also plays into that. My background's in national security and counterterrorism. Recently, I led the shutdown.
Brigitte Macron slapped French president over flirty texts with Iranian actress.
Organizers of the conference when I shut it down.
That's funny.
South Florida
That's funny. I don't care who you are.
I was actually sued by them 3 times, twice in federal court, and then they appealed.
Here's the crazy thing. Yeah, well, the right one is math. What's that, a multi-voting system?
Daily.
Yeah.
Let me just play that clip again. Just play it again. It seems like a small thing. This is the difference. I want you to keep in your mind the left saying, hey, hands off my bedroom, my wiener. Hey, hands off my uterus. Hey, I believe in the right to choose. They mean the right to choose degeneracy and the right to use funding the consequences of said degeneracy. It's always, okay, the choice they want. They don't want you to be able to choose to drive.
It's cool here today, and tomorrow it's going to be, or actually tomorrow it's going to be in the 70s. Saturday is supposed to be 80s. Sunday high 80s. But only 50s today.
They want to be able to choose degeneracy for themselves, and you have to fund the consequences. Watch her make the case.
How many people are unhoused that you meet have no teeth at all? They don't have teeth. Why? Because meth rots your teeth. You can't succeed without teeth. So there needs to be comprehensive health care provided to people.
Oh, also, by the way, I know a very successful biochemist without teeth. Old toothless biochemist Jim, we call him.
Yeah, he's a quiet guy.
He is.
Yeah, not a lot of chatter from that guy. I hope she gets bitten by one of these tweakers.
Well, she'll get
a new set of dentures.
There's only 2 mouths.
No, I'm saying, I hope she provides these new dentures and then one of them just takes a chunk.
I haven't turned mine on yet.
Yukon Cornelius?
Probably will. Is that 82? Is that a cop?
No, dude, she
is that just a car?
totally thinks that's going to fly with everybody.
Teeth, that's the problem. That's what's keeping me.
So let me get this clear. Here's a solution. All right, kids are dumb. Let's throw more money in schools. It doesn't work. Homeless people are here. Okay, let's pay for houses. They're doing all the drugs. So let's pay for Narcan and vending machines that are immediately rated. Their teeth are bad because they're dumb and they trashed their house and they did all the meth. Let's pay for their teeth. What are you, a fascist? Here's the recent poll. That's a famous Nazi policy. It's all teeth for the drug addicts. Actually, he probably was. By the way, I know that's the sort of the super juice that they've been giving you. We put you into submarines to get you all hopped up. Turns out there may be some side effects. So I'm introducing the new Gestapo dental. Unfortunately, it's this United
Mid-90s, yeah. It's part of living down there, man.
So your premiums will go up.
It's mid-May here, and we've only had probably about 6 days above 70.
This is the world they live in. And by the way, she's only leading Spencer
6 or 7 days above
in Los
70.
Angeles by 8%.
Hey, PDF.
That's according to Emerson College polling. Check the link in the description. We make those references available. We always choose the ones that are unbiased as we combine 11 a.m. Eastern is when we stream. So
give me a rumble shirt.
And I think he's going to have a better chance if he keeps campaigning like this. If he just keeps talking, dude.
Say hi and rumble if you can, please. If you can't, that's fine too. I appreciate you. Love you.
Or the union made.
I need a few more unique chatters there. I think I need like 8 more before the end of the month.
Not that far from the attack ads.
No, that's what's crazy about it. Is like, well, this looks like Spencer Pratt put it out. Like, it's not.
Yeah, one of the Spencer Pratt doesn't want to pay for more housing for the unhoused.
Yes.
He says they need help or to be in prison. Los Angeles is on the right track. We don't need that. Are you kidding me?
Wildfires are a real issue here. Concrete trees.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be like someone going, hands off our Detroit.
It's fine like it is.
We've got it right. We don't need any change. All right. Speaking of change, look, I want to be clear about this next thing because, I had that debate with Nick Fuentes.
There's a lot of fucking construction on the turnpike.
I think it was productive. I think people need to have.
It's like every other mile, it's barrels. Thanks, PDF. I appreciate you, brother.
I respect that. I will say that.
Thanks for the. Seems to be working for PDF there, Matt. Must be your device or user error.
This wouldn't be in the cultural lexicon if this administration had not put it out there. That means they've put themselves on the hook. And if they don't follow through, well, the critics have a point.
Not by me, but on the southern part of the state. I think near Dayton or Cincinnati or something down there.
The biggest,
closer to Jared.
We'll get to how and to what degree he's delivered.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
And on day one, we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history.
We are going to start the largest mass deportation in the history of our country because we have no choice. It's not sustainable. And we're going to start with violent criminals. Here's what we're going to do. It's going to be called...
Oh, we got Casey's up here, though. I noticed it the other day when we went to Columbus.
That was one of the primary issues on which people were voting. The economy and immigration. Those were the top two consistently across all the polls, including the leftist ones, by the way. The results that we have so far, because some people say they're different. About 675,000 deportations.
Yeah, we are getting those around here.
To 2.2 million illegal aliens have self-deported.
Yeah, another fucking
so if you want to
biggie.
use the low end, we're definitely around 1 million. If you want to use the high end, we could be closer to 3 million. Let's split it, call it 1.5, 2 million. That would be a very...
Please.
How can I help you? You can report traffic, road incidents, map issues, or general map updates.
Police on the side of the road.
I've reported police on the side of the road. Thanks.
Reasonable estimate to make. The first term of President Trump, words, It has scratch, replacement migration, re-migration. Now, the post was, in addition to the U.S. rejection, to be clear, of the UN Global Compact on Migration. Let me read this for you. It says the United States objects to the Global Compact on Migration and UN efforts to facilitate.
Yeah, you can do all that on Rumble. They don't fuck with you on Rumble.
The United States and our Western allies. Let's first describe for you.
Scott must be moving back and forth because he's reporting up here.
What remigration is, according to Merriam-Webster. It's the act of returning to one's original or previous home after migration. So how is this different from deportation? Well, it includes denaturalizing and deporting people who've gained some sort of legal status here in this country. In almost all cases, that's usually legal residence, not American citizen, to be clear. Someone who's become a naturalized citizen, they're almost completely immune, barring some kind of fraud, because if someone gained citizenship.
That's pretty cool, man.
Means
I've been doing a lot of shorts on my channel just because it brings a lot of subscribers.
Now,
I've gained about 300 subscribers in the last month or so.
Correspondent from NPR. So NPR's domestic extremism correspondent is Odit Youssef. They found it! Yeah. The idea is often attributed to a French novelist who became known as the originator of the Great Replacement conspiracy theory. I don't want to do this voice the whole time. Which is this baseless claim that white Christian Europeans are being systematically replaced by immigrants in an attempt to dilute European or
Western
cultures. And
it's tough to lose a pup.
The author of
we lost one of our German Shepherds last summer.
English, I don't know how to say it. So
we're down to 2 of them now.
How would you say it in English? Raspale. Anytime I have to get to a
word, I just took one of them for his spring de-shedding yesterday. And then I had to have my vehicle clean because it was like a blizzard inside my truck.
Systematically replaced. I don't care about the intent. Now, I do believe that there is intent. Why? Because they've said it. Not all, though. Many leftist leaders.
Yeah, the only one I've been in, the only cases I've been into was the one over by Mitty's house when I went over there.
You saw those ads from Denmark where they said you actually shouldn't marry or procreate with people.
I just happened to see a few signs when we were coming back from Columbus last weekend.
So there are people who have said you need to change the racial demographics because these nations are too white. That's some of it.
We got
you can't prove
a quick trip.
And there are two of the people involved are pushing this. I don't care. Intent doesn't matter. Yeah.
I got 2 German Shepherds.
That's a statistical reality. So let's get off
an American Pit and Pug. And then I still have 3 cats. So 4 dogs, 3 cats. It's a fucking zoo at my house.
Christian percentage going down. Islamic migrants, African migrants, non-white Anglo-Saxon migrants going up. In some countries, it's already hit a tipping point. That is a statistical reality, just like you don't need to make the racial argument primarily or the intent of crime. Just point to crime statistics. These are what they are. Do not blame me. Remigration, to be clear, has been popularized in the EU right now by the AfD in Germany.
I think our one of our sites or one of our recovery buildings is getting DDoSed or something. I keep getting an intrusion detection being blocked.
Die Woche zu hören unter dem Begriff Remigration verstehe die AfD als Generation Deutschland treten wir ein für die Remigration.
You gonna be in the you want to be in the fantasy league this year, Matt?
Endlich Remigration.
Und strafwillige Ausländer. Genau das nennen wir Remigration. Remigration rettet Leben. Remigration so schnell wie möglich, liebe Freunde.
What the fuck is this? Germans are now having
I know how that. Their language isn't their fault.
It seems similar.
I mean, he could have had less passion.
Yeah, and that one guy didn't have to film it through a cheesecloth. Now, I will film this from the sauna. Why do you just wipe the lens? So here are the responses to President Trump, of course, from the left. The old he's a Nazi. The January 6th committee staffer, Tom Jocelyn wrote, "Remigration is a white nationalist idea. Immigrants of color voluntarily leave America for their native countries, making America whiter. That the State Department and White House are openly promoting it is an obvious tell, as if another one was needed, about the Trump regime's goal." Professor Michael Fiola wrote, "Your regular reminder that remigration is far-right code for the forced expulsion of ethnic undesirables in order to, quote, purify the nation. White House Communications Division showing their white nationalist..."
You still got the same phone number?
Joshua Eagle wrote, "Let's be clear about what this means. The White House is declaring war on any American who isn't white. This isn't about legal status. It's about ethnicity. If you're non-white and still backing still backing the GOP, you need to understand exactly what your party has planned for your life. To be clear, he's not a Nazi. We all know that. He's just done with the forced migration and wants them to go home.
It's over. Go home. Go.
You have to watch till after the credits. Now, here's the thing. Let's just switch it.
Yeah.
Because the left has.
I'm going to raid somebody's stream when I get to.
These other cultures are beautiful. These other countries have better cultures. Hashtag
job site, because I got to get on this phone.
Which means
but I'm gonna stream on the way back too. So that's another 2-hour stream. So
hashtag news so white, whatever it was. Hashtag Twitter white. Back then, before it was X for the uninitiated. You guys brought it up. You have made a declarative judgment that things are too white, and through a matter of policy, have decided to unwhiten them. You've done it with Europe. You've done it with films. You've done it with committees. You've done it with board of directors, and you have based it solely on race. Now, I think there is a racial component to it because race, in many cases, is shorthand for incompatible culture. You know, like Indians and H-1Bs. You made it exclusively about race, as seen by your commercials across Europe telling white people to not have sex with each other because, my God, it might create more white people. Here's the criticism from those on the right, that President Trump won't deliver. Nick Fuentes wrote, you know, if Trump isn't going to do remigration, who's going to do it? G.D. Vance, it's not that they can't do it, they won't. That's what he said. By the way, he has very large hands. He does. I would love to see if he could palm a basketball. The blogger Evans wrote, "You say this and then deport less people than Obama." Now, here's my problem with that, and I discussed this. Anyone who says that, we did a segment when that talking point made the round. That is a leftist talking point, and they only use it when convenient because they don't really want to say that Barack Obama deported illegal aliens, but they'll use it to try and sow mistrust amongst conservatives. It's not true. And anyone using that point is taking the Democrat talking points wholesale. It's not true. About 74% of the deportations under Obama, they were just non-judicial returns, like turnarounds at the border, to be clear. So only about 1.4 million were actually deported, not 5.6. Remember, 2.8 million illegal aliens came in under Obama, at least. The numbers for Biden are even worse. So to say there's no difference is not true. And then to say that Barack Obama deported more is not true. It was net positive illegal immigration under Barack Obama, net negative total migration under Donald Trump. Anyone who tells you Obama deported more is lying to you or misinformed. Check the reference. Link in the description. 11 a.m. We provide them every single day, a whole bibliography. So, this is the other thing that is very important. And then I'll get to where critics have a point. But I see a lot of critics of the Trump administration, wrongfully or deliberately dishonestly. I don't know. The net result is the same. They just blend everything together. They'll blame Donald Trump, President Trump, for things that are not under the executive purview, while not giving him credit for doing things that he can do under the executive purview. In other words, if Democrats block something in the House, and some Republicans, Donald Trump gets blamed. If he does something without their permission through executive order, they say, well, that's not going to stick. I've not heard these critics give him credit for anything, meaning the border is sealed. He gets no credit. Why? Well, because that could just be undone as long as there isn't a wall. Okay, but he's also pushed for funding for a wall, and that's been blocked in several instances by all Democrats and some Republicans.
Oh,
right
wow.
now it's being built. Does he get credit for that? No, he does not. H-1Bs, for example, 87% reduction in new overseas or new, they use the term overseas, new outside of America H-1Bs coming 87% down. They go, yeah, but we still hit the cap. Well, that's because it will require an act of Congress to deal with the H-1Bs who are here and are extending them. So he doesn't get credit for the executive order, and then he gets blamed for the Democrats, those that would have the congressional authority. So where does he get credit for any? Oh, there are only two genders. Well, that's just executive order. That'll be undone. Okay, but it actually is used as a basis to challenge a lot of these sort of Title IX violations. In other words,
You got to meet Spectrum at one of these new sober living houses that they just bought and redid.
So let's hand power over to the Democrats who will pack the courts and undo all of it. We need to recognize and understand the difference in executive authority and congressional authority, and of course judicial authority. So you know what? Let's Schoolhouse rock this.
Right, get the fuck over, dude.
Where there can be blame at the feet of President Donald Trump, and where there can be blame placed at the feet of 100% of Democrats and a notable but small percentage of Republicans. So let's start with this. What falls under executive authority?
Hey, XZ.
So, as it relates to remigration, deporting illegals,
it's all good, man.
Specifically, those who've committed fraud. You know, like Ilhan Omar, who obtained status through banging her brother. Oh, the president can do that.
She didn't obtain status by banging her brother. She obtained status by committing herself under God to her brother.
Yes, a biblical incestuous covenant.
It was a fringe.
Yes. Fucking
or,
idiot.
As many refer to it, Islam. Now,
let the fucking truck over, you fucking moron.
So because the same reason that President Trump can do something for H-1Bs coming into the country. That's under executive authority as broad powers.
Right.
Because it's an issue of national security. Right, the president needs to be able to act quickly in issues of national security. That's why the term.
What the fuck is she doing? Fucking Texas plates, Matt.
Guess what?
Texas plates.
Same thing with
in a Subaru.
In other words, if it's fraud, this person had no business being here anyway. Effectively, someone who is a legal resident but obtained it through fraud is the equivalent to an illegal alien because it's not real.
Yeah, get rid of it immediately.
Done. That would be
this fucking dude is just going down the road with his turn signal and everyone's passing on the right, so he can't get over.
Require congressional authority. So they would need to expand grounds for denaturalization beyond fraud. They would need to increase who can be removed, like all legal.
I don't care about the heavy traffic that much. It's just
civic
I hate morons.
Or any public assistance.
That's a huge one right there. Massive.
I would love to see it done. That can't just be done by the president. Meaning, hey, you're here, you're a legal resident, but you committed a crime. Also, you're a net drain. You're not contributing. You're taking SNAP, EBT, whatever it is, any of these social safety nets, depending on the state, depending on the city. So because you're doing that, we are now revoking your legal status. I think we should do that. Why? Because someone who was not born here is not entitled to any type of citizenship or residency if they are only here to take, and certainly not if they are here to hurt.
All right, you got room. Now get the fuck over.
Are they literally taking finances? Yeah. And are they trying to be compatible? Are they assimilating? That's a basic civic test. If they commit a crime, of course, gone. They need to, or the congressional authority, be required to allow the denaturalization of anchor babies, right? Ending this sort of chain migration that we've seen. They need to repeal or narrow the TPS asylum laws. Congressional authority would be needed to increase penalties, criminal penalties, for anyone who helps illegals. So, for example,
yeah, right before I got on the turnpike, there was a state trooper trying to herd geese off of the freeway. Right? It was funny.
The president can say,
actually, it was ducks.
We can increase the vetting and investigations into companies, into corporations and employers because they could be abetting something that's a risk to national security. People who are already here, the criminal penalties would need to be enacted for congressional authority to any corporations who help illegals. That's where you probably won't see it done because of the law. Of course, they also would have needed to impeach lower court judges, things like that, allocate more funds, as you well know. which brings us to the third issue. So you have executive authority, congressional authority, and what's the third branch, boys and girls? Judicial authority. I've lost enthusiasm.
Come on, don't quit on us now.
We can shorten it. We need, obviously, the Supreme Court, we need them to properly interpret the Constitution. Primarily end birthright citizenship, and by that I mean end the warping therein and return it to its original intention. And of course, we need to quickly overturn that.
Judicial,
yes. This is where the Trump administration better start doing some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to get rid of those.
Got to be careful with that on YouTube, though.
Most of the time when President Trump tries to do something, you see activist judges standing in the way, delaying things, pushing it off until it ends up at the Supreme Court. And so he isn't able to move nearly as quickly. So you have to do that. And then some of the things that you listed in congressional authority, not just for getting people out, but for allowing people in.
Right.
If you are going to come to this country, you still have to do those.
It's sunny today, but it's cool.
A civic test. You need to make sure that you're not going to be on government.
Probably going to raid Crowder once they get stopped. Like I said, though, once I'm ready to head back, I'll start up the stream again.
But they were.
I'm hoping it doesn't take more than an hour or so. I may have to run out and grab a router, though, a temporary router.
In places like Somalia. Right. That is insane to me. All of those people, literally, and I'll give you the most compassionate version. You got 1 year starting today. If in 1 year you're not off of all of it, you're gone. Yeah, and maybe that's too much. Maybe it should be 6 months. Maybe there's no notice. But at the very least, 1 year, you're off of it or gone.
And then we garnish your wages with extra taxes.
You got to pay it back. It's like a boxer that gave it back after he fought the fight. I don't know her name.
That is pretty compassionate, and they would still call you, a jerk.
Right.
I would
How much farther? About 20 minutes.
To give them all the services in their own
15 miles.
They're cheaper over there.
Yeah. If you're Canadian, you're here taking Medicaid, you're taking EBT, you're taking housing assistance.
I'll probably stay streaming while I'm waiting for Spectrum to show up.
And you can go back to your homeland and I'll have to hear about how great
They're
it is.
usually pretty close to being on time.
You're going to see Conan O'Brien swimming in a bay.
He might have a better bay to swim in.
I'm going to one of the suburbs called Garfield Heights.
We definitely need to do this. We need to recognize the difference between executive authority, congressional authority, judicial authority, and credit where it's due, and also place the blame where it is deserved.
Right.
That's a big part of these conversations right now, and there are a lot of commentators who are hoping that you are too uninformed to be able to call them. Now, I want to be clear about this. The starting point for this conversation, because I bet you this is going to be quite a controversy, the whole remigration conversation.
Yeah.
I'm here for it, by the way. I've supported this idea. I've talked about it in the past. We've talked about birthright system quite a bit. It hasn't been talked about in the mainstream that much. It will be now. So, to the Trump administration, everyone therein, if you bring it up, and you did, remigration, if you make promises and then don't deliver on it, this wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be talking about it if you didn't get our hopes up. If you don't deliver, Nick Fuentes has a point.
Yes.
And all people like him have a point. So we're going to be watching the follow through on this. And if there is none, you guys get what you deserve.
Yes.
This would be a big misstep. This could either be a huge shift for our country in the right direction, please do, or a PR stunt, which I will never forget. And neither will your voters.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. It's extremely fair. This very much smells like the Epstein binder release.
I actually have two buildings to go to. I have one in Garfield Heights and one in Maple Heights.
People wanted it out there.
So let's see your Maple. Probably a Maple Leaf.
Files and files, those just got taken from Tulsi Gabbard.
And those would be relatively inconsequential in comparison to this. Remigration, if you follow through, is a huge arrow in your quiver to save the direction of this country. Huge. You brought it up. We said, yeah. Now you got to deliver. And you, on an individual level, we also need solutions. Just pony up to secure your own future financial freedom.
Top of the morning.
Josh, were those gunshots?
Oh, hey, Gerald. Yeah, the
protecting my investments. From who? The leprechaun I just blasted. You're welcome, by the way.
Josh, there's no such thing as leprechauns. All right, buddy? And listen, if you're interested in gold, just give True Gold Republic a call or go to lwcgold.com and see if you qualify for a no fees for life gold IRA. Very simple process, okay?
That sounds pretty sweet, actually. Yeah.
Like there's a biggie up ahead. Speed limit's only 60 here, so I'm going to slow it down.
And by the way, no more gunshots in the office. Highly frowned. All right, thanks.
I'll try.
Let True Gold Republic help you safeguard your retirement with physical gold and silver. Go to lwcgold.com or call 800-628-4653. Sign up or call today and see if you qualify for a no fees for life IRA.
Hey, Josh, really quickly. A guy from corporate is coming over.
Oh, no worries, Doug.
Short guy, green jacket. Just don't want you to be on.
You calling off?
Thanks. Gotta go.
You don't feel good?
To answer two questions, yes, we do in fact have a Christmas room in this studio.
True.
It is the writer's room office. Also, I was like, hey, you know what? Gerald has been doing the basic training. He's got some guns on there.
Yeah, he's got his white beard. He's looking like a buff Santa.
Yes, or butt Santa.
Yeah, except he doesn't go down your teeth and he goes up it.
All right. I'll be, if you're going back to bed, I was saying I'm going to end it when I get to the job site, but I am going to stream on the way back. I appreciate it, Tiff. If you do have a Rumble, just pop in there and say, hey, I need the unique chatters. If not, I get it.
No, you look good. Thank you very much.
I don't see any fucking cops.
That's just really lifting twice a week. It's very basic. Yeah.
Twice a week, maybe
out there.
40 minutes.
You just do
Gerald's got good genes.
squats, pressing, and a row.
Yeah, Ben rolls. I
There you
guess it's called Ben rolls.
There you go.
Gerald is like Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, wow. That's
And also
pretty
like,
descriptive there, Eggsy.
Not a Democrat because he's not retarded.
Yeah,
That's
I heard
right.
about that.
Yeah, I heard about that
I'm
before you
not
left.
retarded.
Speaking of retarded, hey,
What's that?
Odyssey. The Odyssey movie. You guys asked me to watch the teaser or trailer. Was it last week? I don't know.
Something like that.
It's all a life-hating blur. So,
Let's go.
I know
Appreciate you
and people,
popping in,
especially
Tiff.
now, they're talking about AI taking over the entertainment industry. And remember, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were on Joe Rogan shows. And they just can't write it. They just don't have any soul. By the way, have you watched Bright on Netflix? It's like, hey, if you guys don't want to be replaced by AI, then I think most people, when you're thinking films, you want quality writing, you want compelling storylines or plots, you want some casting, especially if you're talking about a historical picture that's somewhat accurate, and mostly you want to be entertained. You want to be able to escape.
Damn,
right?
dude.
You let me know. Comment below. Is that primarily what you want?
Barbecue
out of a
does
film,
sound
whether it's
good, though.
independent, big budget.
Might get some
I saw a
wings.
woman
There's a
say,
place across the
yesterday,
street from the center.
Because I want to hear what they want.
Oh.
And then I do. Hold that thought. Let's see, because I want to hear it's about the people. You, the people. Because you, the people, if that's what you want, you're all bigoted, idiot losers.
It seems that some of the fan base from this influential fan base decided to attack Moses Ingram online and send out the most horrendous racist DMs. And I heard some of them this morning, and it just broke my heart.
And I just wanted to address a couple of things that sort of keep coming up in the comments amongst fans. First, I wanted to apologize to the fans that I did not anatomically match the Faye Valentine character.
I think she's Asian enough for Lane.
6 foot, double D-sized breast, 2-inch waist. They looked everywhere for that woman, and they couldn't find her. It's kind of weird. So
you
they
don't
just
try it.
went
I
with very
could.
short ass. Why do we have to hit it over the head that it's like a female series or whatever?
I think that we progressed a lot over the years.
Plunger plumber.
And then I think we realized
No choice of backgrounds.
that progression.
It's like a Jimmy
Nice
Kimmel.
wrap on that Maverick
Floating
there.
head and
The treatment of
I think
symptoms.
we see now that the problem is systemic.
The heroes of Sony Pictures' Charlie's Angels reboot may have taken down the bad guys, but the Elizabeth Banks-directed movie failed to take down the box office, as she sees it, and will naturally show up more for comic book movies starring women than they would for female-led films like the Charlie's Angels reboot.
Pause.
Because the former are still...
Well, actually finish, because the former, what do they argue?
within a male-focused genre.
Pause.
Thanks.
No, it's not because they're still in a male-focused genre. Look. Let me be clear as to why that is the case. We can suspend disbelief that a woman could beat up a bunch of guys if and only if she's superhuman. Right. That's it. Charlie's Angels? No. Atomic Bombshell? No. The Lady Born Identity, whatever? No. Do you know why? I'll explain to you why. Have you ever had a woman, it could be your daughter, it could be your significant other. Have you ever had one of them choke? And have you ever had to perform Heimlich? Or like, I
call it the Heine lick.
And I was concerned that my hand would go through said woman. It was like bird bones. It is not even close. Women, professional athletes, we could bring this up. Clarissa Shields, this was just going viral, I believe, about a month ago. Best female boxer who's ever lived. Talked about how I ain't been dropped from body shots. I only been dropped. I beat all my men in sparring. And then you see some amateur boxer just clip her and she goes down like Trudeau. It's one of those things where we can go along with superpowers or lightsaber or Jedi. It's completely unbelievable and it's silly. And so men, instead of being sexist, chauvinistic, they just go, well, I don't want to go see that movie. Why? Because it's silly. It's that simple. Let's finish this.
Dated, still go and see a comic book movie with Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel because that's a male genre.
Let me tell you, Star Wars always had the vibe of being the most widest elite space. Like, this is a franchise.
Hello?
How you doing, the Spectrum Cable?
Hi.
Hey, I'm at your home.
Garfield Heights?
Yeah.
All right, I'm 10 minutes out.
All right, we're done.
All right, bye. He's early. I hope someone with keys is there.
That is like a black person existing in that was something, and you can always tell it's something when some Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are on the cookie dough. I'm like, bro, it's just they just.
I know that I have a tendency to take things too seriously or literally, but I went through that analogy and did some research. Turns out there have been lawsuits. So depending on the brand of chocolate chip cookie, you are actually looking at anywhere from 15 to 20-something% by volume of the total cookie being chocolate chips. So I will tell you, considering that they make up about 13% of the population, his analogy is actually apt, and it would be appropriate.
Seems like they are almost every time early.
Give or take
out here anyway.
The population. It wouldn't make sense to have an American
It's rare that I've had to wait for them.
British Republic cookie. I get it.
I will give them that. Spectrum is decent for that.
All double chocolate, double, triple chocolate. It wouldn't make sense. The chocolate chip cookie is a good analogy. Also, it's their favorite part. You're welcome.
Yeah, I love the chocolate chips in the cookie, dude. Yeah, I want my cookie to have all the chocolate chips. I want it to be almost all chocolate chip, barely cookie. I just maybe don't want my daughter to marry one. But.
Right. Yes, I want.
I'm kidding. No,
it's not
a real thing. I don't care.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want anyone to marry a brother. I don't want anyone to marry any form of foodstuffs. But I do want.
If you go with a guy named Chocolate Chunk, I'm gonna go. Hey, maybe Jamal was better. Chocolate Chunk's a weird name.
And I want my second batch and third batch of chocolate chip cookies to look very close to my first batch of chocolate chip cookies. Oops, all chunks. Because I want to know that it's a chocolate chip cookie. You know what? Let's just all find common ground. Let's all find common ground and agree that the enemies in Star Wars are caricaturely, cartoonishly, racistly Japanese.
Hold the block off. That will hold them. They are still coming through. This is impossible.
Oh, blockade is a hold of illegal. Dude, that movie was.
That will hold them. You better hope so because we are physically weak and small in stature.
They're literally sushi. How is that not racist?
It's worse than the older ones.
It's
The Jar Jar Binks and his whole gun crew were definitely
They were
supposed to be,
chocolate chips.
they were Jamaicans or something.
What that JP Morgan CEO or whatever she was would have said about them.
Yeah.
Oh, the
yeah,
bite-sized
fish
pecan pies, those are so good. If you microwave them for like 15 seconds, they're nice and gooey. Damn, they're good.
At least the Viceroys had some real cannons, though, you know?
Who are the Viceroys?
The samurai Star Wars.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's only after my transition.
Let's see Jabba that for a second.
That's not canonical.
No, it's only these are canonical.
Can your lightsaber stop this?
My mind. This is not the first time this has happened. No, it's fine. That's fine now. Yeah, Joe. No, fine now. It wasn't fine a second ago. This is the problem. Like when Joe, like, hey, we had this problem. He's like, I don't see it. It was there.
Yeah,
it's like there was a roach in the bathroom. Like, I don't see it now. It was there, Joe.
If I had a heart attack, I would come to you and be like, oh, look, you're fine.
Yeah, but like,
Well, it seemed like you're breathing now.
Your heart's not under cardiac arrest now.
Yeah, take a salt tap. What were you saying?
I was just going to say big shout out to Dad of 6 for 50 gifted subs.
Oh, thank you, Dad of 6. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Dad of 6? Maybe we should get him in Japan. What is he, a Mormon?
They don't allow them there.
No. Okay, sorry. So the point here is to get to the Odyssey. Now, Variety writer Marlo Stern is using that same playbook, right? You're a bigoted loser if you want films to be good and if you want to have some kind of representation that's just not representation of your race, but representation of the historically moderately accurate race. He's using the same playbook right now to run D for Nolan's The Odyssey. So his article is titled The Odyssey: Why Elon Musk and his troll army's attacks aren't just silly, but wildly inaccurate. Also, Cleopatra was black.
This guy's very used to running D.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Oh, I hope I've been good this year for Butt Santa. Why do I Butt Santa?
Because you climb up that butt.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. See how many kids I have? Up through the butt with shit.
Look, the point is you're married gay. Let's move on.
Yes, exactly. Now bring me some.
No turn on red, dude. 5 stars. Okay.
So follow up. You put this follow up post on X again. I believe this is from Variety.
The two new sober living houses are getting internet. One of them's already done, and I got to go put a router in there. Wi-Fi, and then this one. I thought I had 2 of them. I only have 1, so I'm gonna have to see if this guy will install one for now until I can get out and replace it.
It's just not true. The idea that Latino women have been oppressed as it's the opposite of reality across all races. Even the most racist people on earth, the Asians, I like a big booty Latina.
They make exceptions.
We will put a blockade if you have Latina Jedi. If your Jedi go to carnival.
Open the blockade. There is Argentinian.
No, it's a trap.
I'd like to get a steak, but I don't know if I'll have time.
The attackers are from Brazil. What are we waiting for? Open now! So the problem is not that she was Latina. But I'll continue. Why is Snow White Latina? Why are there black people in the Rings of Power? And Star Wars has gone woke. Comes the latest online onslaught against the diverse cast of The Odyssey. These culture warriors have been led to battle by their own personal Agamemnon. Elon Musk.
Say it right.
Agamemnon.
Yeah, remember Harry's?
In a list when I'm doing
it's the same area where Harry's is at.
Now, please do. Here's kind of a summary of the article. They're basically saying that right-wing trolls are unfairly attacking the Odyssey. And by the way, you are a right-wing troll. The ultimate right-wing troll is Elon Musk.
Nice signal as you're turning, dumbass.
wasn't good because it was historically inaccurate. I think it was
a wonderful neighborhood here.
Like Double, but that's just my opinion.
Mm.
And they also say that minority casting is not because Nolan wants an Oscar, so the trolls are just making this up, white supremacy, all that kind of stuff, right? And we will get to the facts, the references. Of course, it's maybe he's not doing the casting, Nolan, for the Oscar specifically, but he can't get the Oscar unless he creates the diverse cast and makes a tranny Achilles.
They have specific requirements.
They have very specific
starting in 2016. Yeah,
requirements. So they say, "Oh, Troy was historically inaccurate." Whatever. These are the same people who want Cleopatra to be black. It's ridiculous. It's silly. I would have preferred that Genghis Khan not be Matt Damon. I would have preferred Genghis Khan look more like those bad the Empire people in Star Wars. There you go. You know, it would have been closer.
That would have been a fun movie too.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been better.
Oh, Silk Road is impenetrable.
Okay. Elliot Page is playing the ghost.
What's this guy doing?
Now, it's unconfirmed, but then people were saying it was confirmed. It seems like it's confirmed. Here's the thing. When we're talking about accuracy, is this just made up? Is this just made up? Are people just trolling? Is it just racist? Or do we have a reference point? Here's how Achilles is described by Homer. Achilles, dear to Zeus, roused him, and round about his mighty shoulders Athene flung her tasseled aegis, and around his head the fair goddess set thick a golden cloud, and forth from the man made blaze a gleaming fire.
All right, let me
here's Elliot Page.
let me raid.
Alan.
Whoa, those are impressive abs.
Crowder.
Yeah. It's really impressive when you get cosmetic surgery to turn you into who you truly
Stick
are.
around. We're gonna raid Crowder.
And some people
That's
are
cool
just
douche necklace too.
yeah, exactly.
That's
They
awesome.
always transition to a douche baggy stereotype of a man, just like men who transition to women. It's like, hey, we hate female stereotypes. Sure, let me dress like a glorified Barbie doll.
They think I want to be a man means I want to look like a male cologne poster.
Yeah, exactly. I want to look like a Latvian nightclubber.
You maybe look like Drago Noir or whatever it's called.
Dracar Noir?
Yeah, that's the one. I don't know. I'm not Middle Eastern.
I want people to smell my waft as I walk by and go, there's an asshole.
And I can smell it under all that cologne.
That's cool. Hang on, guys.
That's right. Hey, did you guys smell my Dracar Noir? Later we are going to party.
All day toilet.
I have an indoor-outdoor pool in my house where I have party. I will start to swim.
Yeah, I'll fire it back up on the way home.
But then come back inside and smell my Dracar Noir. So, some people are defending the whole Achilles casting choice, saying that Achilles was gay.
Later.
Which, you know, at best, he was bisexual with Patroclus. Even if that's truly what Homer intended, Nolan could have easily just cast, let's be honest, super or basic gay guy.